Okay, so Zuub is perhaps the beginning and the end of a project. It's the initial thought that the client has. They may want a new kitchen, and what Zuub will do is actually show you that you get your new kitchen, but you may want quite a lot more than your new kitchen. The purpose of the company is to try and get an innovative, different, pleasurable standard of design that gives comfort and functionality. What it encompasses is the design philosophy, the design approach, and I guess the way I do things. I'm a professional architect, and I will be designing the project in a professional way. So yeah, there is a process that one goes through, and it's a well-established process, and the client can rest assured that it will follow along pretty smooth lines. The amount of listening carefully to what it is that they want, understanding what sort of budget they've got, and talking to them, more than about their kitchen, but how they use their house really. And it depends on the project. But if there was some requirement to do something more than just a kitchen than there normally is, then I would go away and prepare effectively a small master plan. Probably wouldn't take me more than 2 or 3 days, which would just be a plan, really, just describing to them what it is that I'm thinking of. And then I come back and have a discussion with them, and they would chew it over probably and be a little surprised, almost certainly, and we may have that discussion for some time, then normally move on to doing detailed plans and any planning permission that's required if it's more than a kitchen, and probably only at that point would I then really look at the kitchen detail, though I would have it in my head for some time, and they would get drawings, models, CAD models or whatever, so they could see it all. I think by that stage they would have, at least on past experience, they would actually now be trusting me. To me, the really fundamental, the most important thing about designing the space, and I don't think of it as a kitchen as such, I think of it more as just as a space really that you're going to live in and carry out cooking activities in, is getting the diagram right of that space, so that you know where everyone is going to move and how the circulation is going to work, where everyone's going to sit, and where they're going to, where all the different activities, and there are many in a kitchen, are going to take place, and it's got to be done in a really completely relaxed manner, so it feels completely unforced, and you mustn't try and do too much in that space. You've got to limit it. You have to take it as it is and see what you can get out of it, not try and force it. I suppose that's what I mean about sort of finding the solution that's already there, really. You've got to just sort of see what is natural about it. So the final result looks and feels completely natural, and really, you notice it obviously because visually it's interesting, but otherwise you don't. It's just there, and it's just part of your lifestyle, and you'd sort of feel like you're lost without it, like you'd feel like you'd lost your right arm, just because it's easy. I do feel that there is a solution waiting to happen in every situation. There is something already there, and all I do is really just bring it out normally, and then I add a little bit of colour and a little bit of creativity to it to sort of bring it to life. I was always taught that there should be at least 2 reasons to every design decision, and that's been a mantra for myself throughout my design career. I think everything should be really well grounded in the function it has to do, but it also probably should do something else as well, which gives it a much better base, and it's got to look good. It's got to perform the function, but it's also got to do it pleasingly and maybe create some space around it, and you know, it's got to fit really. You know, it's all got to it's got to gel, and this isn't normally observed consciously by anyone except for by me. It's very much a subconscious feeling, I hope, certainly in my clients and people who visit, because it's important to me that everything feels very natural and you don't question too much about it. You might enjoy it, you might be surprised by it, but it just happens and it's there. But to do that, you have to work pretty hard at it. The manufacturers I use are based in Norfolk, and I've been working with them for probably 20 years. I know them well. And they're very good, very talented. I wouldn't say they're necessarily the fastest people in the world, but they are craftsmen. So you have to wait a little bit. And everything is bespoke, everything is a prototype. So it's not like getting something off the shelf that has been tried and tested. There needs to be quite a lot of work to make sure it all works before it comes to you. I suppose my greatest influence in terms of furniture is probably Lutyens, I should think, actually, funnily enough. I've always enjoyed his furniture, and pretty traditional furniture, but nicely put together and very well fitted into space and pretty architectural, pretty key to his buildings. Frank Lloyd Wright, super at producing interiors, and I really admire his dedication to his own particular way of seeing things. So much so that he would, hearsay has it, would break into his clients' houses and rearrange the furniture should they do something different, which doesn't get out particularly well with clients, I'm sure, but I can really appreciate that. So I don't analyse personality too much. It's just sort of, you know, you get an impression quite quickly when you meet people and listen to what they're saying and everything, and you get to understand quite quickly what it is that they're looking for. You don't necessarily provide what they say they're looking for, because they may think they know what they're looking for, but they often don't. You normally try and provide something that actually is what you think they're looking for, rather than what they say they're looking for, and that sometimes is difficult for them to grasp at first, but normally, when they actually see it, and then they're completely delighted by it. So yeah, it is fitted around the requirements of the family or the individual. The client comes and asks for a kitchen, and they just think they want a kitchen, but actually they're normally, under the surface, they want a lot more than that, and those things that they want that are more than the kitchen come out in conversation, and that tends to lead to a much more interesting and larger project than just a kitchen. And I guess what Zuub does is that it fulfills those requirements. I think I've had one client in my life who I wouldn't have wanted, but only one. And normally clients end up as really good friends. So, I don't think clients would be coming to me unless we were going to get on, to be honest. So I think they've picked me to start with.